Hola, Gringas y Gringos. Today, as you can see, I am flying solo. And I just want to have a little girl chat with some of my girls out there. And you men, you can stick around for this too. Coming right after this. Well, welcome back. I just wanted to say thank you very much for hanging around and listen to me yabber a little bit. The reason that I'm by myself today is because Mark had a death in his family. It was his mother's sister, so an aunt passed away, and he had to fly back to the United States for the services, the wake, the funeral. He'll be gone for a few days. So, of course, I've said in our live stream and a few other places, I do work full time, but the only time I get to see the sun, honestly, is on my lunch break, which is right now. And what are we having for lunch today? Well, we are having a delicious salad that I made that you may or may not see. It's got croutons and cranberries and sunflower seeds and blue cheese, Danish blue, with some blue cheese dressing in addition to that, because I like my blue cheese a little chunky. We're also having some cottage cheese, if you can see that. And look, guys, dark grapes. I just love them. Bought the only package that City Market had, and they weren't moldy. So, let's talk lady to ladies. Is it safe for single ladies to live in Mexico? My answer to that is, it is safe for anyone to live in Mexico, provided that you're in a safe place. Now, Mark has already discussed, and I will link to that video, about how exaggerated the safety or lack thereof can be at times. But it's true, no matter where you are in the world, you're going to have safe and unsafe places. Would I feel comfortable as a single lady living in Mexico? The answer is absolutely yes. I certainly would. I tend to not be someone who is out late at night. I'm not someone who's out in areas by myself late at night. I tend to not bar hop. I don't do drugs. Well, let's just say if I'm in a state that allows certain types of drugs, that may happen. But I don't typically go looking for them. Let's just say that. So I'm not going out doing risky things. I would say if you're in a location that's considered to be a safe location, which a lot of the neighborhoods that we have been in are, there's nothing wrong with you being a single lady and trying to start your life here. It can happen. You can do it. The only obstacle that I foresee has nothing to do with the safety factor. It's my limitation in communication. And again, I will just stress that's on me. I haven't learned Spanish as quickly as I would have liked to. And we can mostly, credit that to a lack of time and a lack of focus. Could I make the time? I could make the time, but something else will suffer for it. So I just have to get those priorities straightened out. And again, that's on me. But communication is important. And communication will only add to your feeling of safety and security. If you can understand what's being said, if somebody were to be saying something and you didn't understand what they were saying and it was malicious or potentially dangerous, you wouldn't know that. But if you could understand the language better, that certainly would be a clue. And just having that skill will just make you appreciate so many things so much more. One of the other things that I wanted to talk about is what's coming down the pike. I'm putting this together. I am throwing it together. It's a midweek video drop, and I'm trying to do a nice, clean, easy edit so that I can get this out to you in a timely manner. We do have 2 videos on Dolores Hidalgo that we want to drop. I need some commentary and some voiceover from Mark to do that, which he's not here. So I did not want to put those videos out without his participation. Therefore, that video that was going to drop today is being pushed off, and it probably won't drop on Sunday either, or Saturday, because he's not expected to get back home. And I'm calling this home. He's not expected to be home until Sunday. So I'm pulling some things together that may or may not be of interest to everyone, but I hope that you find them interesting in some way. So one of the things that I would like to put out there is, per request, I did actually pull together some sort of video describing how I make my sourdough English muffins. I know it's got nothing to do about Mexico. It's got nothing to do about being an expat in Mexico. But sourdough is not easy to find. Yes, there are going to be locations that you will find sourdough. I haven't found them yet. It's just not that common. So I actually show a little bit about the background of how I got my sourdough starter here, what I do to make the dough for the muffins, and how I actually make the muffins. So you may, if you're dying for some good sourdough recipe time and you've been missing your English muffins, that is a video that I want to drop probably on Saturday this week. Also, just kind of saying this right now, sourdough is one of those things where the starter is fermenting on basically yeast spores that it has collected naturally from the air, from surfaces, from your skin. There's a reason why San Francisco has a wonderful reputation for an excellent sourdough. But I don't have that. San Francisco's sourdough is unique because of where it is, because of the type of yeast that is captured in the starters. And you can buy some of that starter from people and they'll ship it to you from eBay and everything else. But guess what, folks? After you do a few feedings and you're in your local environment and you've got your own local yeasty beasties dropping into your sourdough and fermenting, it's not San Francisco sourdough anymore. It's your sourdough. And does it change in flavor and taste? I guess so, probably. But I'm sharing that with you on Sunday, how I make my English muffins. So stay tuned for that. The other thing that, as you can see, we got haircuts. Excuse me, those grapes are awesome. We went out to a local mall. San Miguel has a mall. It's not a mall like a big mall with all the stores located inside the walls of the mall. Kind of like a strip mall. The big major stores, the chain stores, they're not all connected. Like one's at one end, one's at another end, and you got all this strip mall stuff in between. But it's a mall. And Mark went to the barber shop, and I'm like, man, I need a haircut. I was looking pretty, I don't know, haggard. I had that long, crazy lady hair thing going on. No volume, couldn't do anything with it, had to pull it up all the time. So I got a haircut. I guess I could share some of that in a video. Mark's haircut had cost him a total of, I want to say 150 pesos, like $7, $7.50, something like that. He threw a tip in, made it an even 200, and they did a great job. I mean, that's less expensive than Supercuts, Great Clips, Sports Cuts, all those places. Yeah. And that was a quality barbershop where the guys were in chairs getting haircuts with precision edging and all that. Designs. Yeah. Quality. barbershop. I went to a salon in the same mall that was right next to a nail salon, and my hair was cut by a young man. How hard was it to communicate what I wanted? Because I've asked this in the past. I wanted an inverted bob with layers for volume. Okay. So he did make it longer in the front. It's a little hard to see sometimes, but it is longer in the front than it is in the back. He did stack it some in the back. I didn't get layers so much through here. I can deal with that. I think he did a really nice job. I did buy a product that did cost me 200 pesos. So the haircut itself was 400 pesos. And that included cutting and styling and applying products to my hair. So 400 pesos. $20, $21, $22, I guess, depending on whatever the exchange rate is today. I don't think that's horrible. I would have gone to a Great Clips and with tip would have spent about $25. So I think that's comparable. I think Mark gets the better bargain on that. But it wasn't too difficult to explain what I wanted. He did speak some English. And of course I did use Google Translate, which was helpful. Speaking of interactions with people and using Google Translate, day before yesterday, a guy from Megacable rolls up on his motorbike, and he's got like one of those wrappy boxes hooked to the back of the bike, and he's carrying Megacable modems. And that's not how they say it here. Megacable, I think. And he's just standing outside looking at this piece of paper. I don't know what he's doing. And I open the door and I say, "Hola, buenas tardes." And he starts, right? I can't. And I got to use my canned comment, "Mi español es muy malo," right? And he instantly pulls out and starts on his phone. Okay, look, this is a generational thing. I can't text like this. Texts like this don't work for me. I'm like this. Or sometimes I use the slide. But he's like, and the next thing you know, I got the Google lady. "I'm here to change your modem." Oh, come in. And so, yes, he installed a modem. And I'm sitting here thinking to myself, what am I going to do to get connected to this modem? Fortunately, he did show me what the address was on the back and what the password was on it. And then Mark comes downstairs and rambles off something in Spanish to him. Yay for Mark. Mark was a superhero. I couldn't believe how fast stuff came flying out of his mouth. And I'm just looking at him like, you say what? But he was able to communicate with the young man. Fortunately, there's QR codes now on the back of these modems, and I simply had to scan it, pulled it up, took it to a website, and it instantly assigned password and everything right on my phone. And we had the 2.4 and the 5G, whatever those ranges are, I can't think right now, but there's two. And then the next biggest thing was there is an extender upstairs on the second floor, and it of course is still named after the old modem and the channel name that they gave it. So then I had to basically reset that extender, which reminds me that I'm going to have to let our hostess know that, because I used the same password that she gave us before for that extender, but now it's under my email account, just so I was able to access the thing and get it set up. So I'll have to transfer that back to her when we go. Other things that I'm wanting to do, we have videos that we want to share with you. One of them is going to be of Colonia Guadalupe, which if the church is right here, I know you probably can't see this, then Guadalupe is like right there. It's just over just a bit. And that is the neighborhood that has a ton of murals. So many murals. I think it's over 40. I know we didn't find all of them, but I do think we found more than half. And I'd like to do a little aerial with the drone over that early morning. In addition, up beyond the parroquia, up that hill directly from where we are, is the botanical garden. And that botanical garden video is going to be coming your way as well. That video is going to basically share some pretty interesting looking scenery. There is a gorge up there that's on an ancient fault line. You don't want to fall into this gorge. I could not believe how steep it was. And it looks like it used to be a riverbed even at some point, or a riverbed was there and the fault line happened and the water drained, but it's obvious it used to be a riverbed. And the botanical garden is not what I typically would think of when I think of a botanical garden. It is all desert climate type plants. So a lot of different types of cacti, things I've never seen before. And it was pretty interesting. And there's some wildlife. I used the Merlin app from it's got something conservatory. It's about birds. But the Merlin app will let you capture bird song and identify the birds for you. And there were some birds I never heard of before that we were capturing song for. We got a few images of some birds. Interesting. The cacti were interesting. The scenery was really quite stunning, particularly over by the gorge. But I'd like to try to get a drone shot early in the morning when nobody's up, basically, and just travel that gorge if at all possible. I want to be careful because there was definitely a bird of prey out just surveying that gorge over and over and over, and we noticed a squirrel was hiding under some brush, avoiding the bird. Not really sure what kind of bird it was. I want to say a raptor type thing, but Mark said he wasn't really certain. From what he could see, it could have even been a vulture, but I don't think it was. But we'll see. That'll be interesting. I'm just worried about maybe that bird of prey might not like a drone. And then what happens? If it attacks my drone? I gotta think about that. Now, the botanical garden was not free on a Sunday, but that is also not a state and or federally run point of interest. I'm pretty sure it's probably somewhat of a nonprofit. It's certainly there to conserve endangered species of plant and animal life. So that money's going toward a good cause, and it wasn't that expensive either. It was 50 pesos per person. But we'll get to that in that video. So we got the two Dolores Hidalgo videos, Colonia Guadalupe. We're going to have Botanical Garden video. And I want to get Mineral de Pozos? It's basically where there is an old abandoned mining town. I want to get video there. We did go once and we walked around just like, where is everything? We had no idea we were in the wrong area of town, but we want to go back, get some shots from that, and nearby are lavender fields. And I love lavender, and lavender is so common in this area. You can smell it just when the wind blows. So I would really like to get some shots over the lavender fields. I think that would be stunning. I hope this wasn't too much of a ramble. Yes, I'm not quite as concise as Mark, but Mark's got time to pull a thought together, research it well, put it out there in a nice, clean video. He does that to try to help me because I don't have the time during the day to do these edits. And after working all day, then I'm on the computer the rest of the evening doing edits. So he really does that to try to take the pressure off of me to produce and get these videos out to you as quickly as I can. And so again, time being a constraint for me, I'm on my lunch break right now doing a video for you while I try to eat the lunch that I'm not eating because I'm talking. Oh, maybe I'll lose weight that way. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please consider subscribing if you haven't already to see more videos just like this. Here's a couple right here. Hasta la próxima vez.